Hi, I'm COCKNBULLKID and you're watching What You Got. Things this week have been like a mix of like stressful, exciting, nerve-wracking. Like I started the week off feeling really sick. Like when I woke up on Monday, I just felt, instead of excitement, I just felt sick. I feel better now, but I think it was just a lot of like nerves and anticipation, etc. But yes, it's been an eventful week. I've been involved in music properly, I guess, since I was about 18. So, well, 16, 17, I'd say. And I guess I started off at a studio in North London, and then I began, like on MySpace, started gigging at various places around London for about 3-4 years, and then I got signed about 2-3 years ago. And then, at the beginning of that, I started writing my album, and it basically brings you up to present day. It was just released this week, so
Yeah.
it's been a long journey. Yeah. I mean, the internet and social media, like everything, is good and bad. You know, everything is good and bad. And then there are definite plus points to it. I mean, prior to having things like MySpace, the way a musician would get heard is either being that one lucky person that the A&R spotted, waitressing. Like that never happens, and just humming along. Or you'd, more realistically, you'd send your demo in an envelope to A&R who's got 150,000 other demos to listen to and probably would never get around to listening to yours. So I mean, MySpace was the same sort of thing, but at least it had a platform for your your photos, your music, the sort of thing you were doing, and it just was instant and it was visual. And aside from that, it was a good way to network with other like-minded musicians and I found so many people to work with through those, through that medium. Like I started working with Trying to Be That Way, I started finding a lot of the producers, and going on to sort of more modern and more recent things like Twitter and Facebook, people can complain about them, but it's great that I can instantly just type, my album's out now, go and buy it, and a good couple of thousand people can potentially see it at the same time. Obviously the negatives of it, illegal download and file sharing, but I don't know, I think you've got to kind of try and move with the times and try and maybe adapt to the situation that we have now. But I think overall the internet is a good thing and social media is a good thing.
Do you download music illegally?
You know what, I won't lie, I previously have, and it wasn't till like quite recently or just in the last few years that I've just, I think we've all done it from time to time. I'm not going to pretend that I haven't, but I've been quite moral about it and thought, well, actually I'm a musician and I put a lot of work into that, and I understand that other musicians, not just musicians, but filmmakers and people will download films and there is a lot of work that goes into it. So I don't do it now. I'd rather give my money to, especially for upcoming artists. It's really difficult if it's your first album and you're trying to break even. Like, it's hardly anyone, breaking even is now seen as, it's like the platinum of, the noughties.
No, we're in the tens.
We're in the tens, yeah. It's like, do you know what I mean? It's that equivalent now. So I don't know. But I think if you're not a musician, it's harder for you to empathise with that, because it's right there and it's easy to do, and I understand that. But no, I would encourage you to buy music off the internet legally. I'd say purely from a money and financial perspective, it's frustrating that you wouldn't make as much money now as you would maybe 5-10 years ago. Chart position, I'm not too bothered about that, because for me it's always been about like a bit of a journey, trying to build the name and being one of those artists with a bit more longevity, yeah, that's the word. So but at the same time I'm quite realistic, and I'm quite monetary about this, as well as being quite creative. Like I want to be able to live off this, and I want to be able to make things from it, and I want to be able to make there are plenty of other things I want to do, and you can't really do that without money. So it's frustrating from a financial point of view, yes. I think as long as you build a fan base and have got loyal people who follow you and will still always support your music, that's way more important than going to a particular number in the chart. Because especially now, because the state of the industry is that people buy singles, albums are kind of now, it's the iTunes generation, people are cherry picking songs they want, and to have an album that people enjoy is becoming rarer and rarer. It's about singles. So I don't know, all that kind of is up in the air, but yeah, it is. But I guess with artists as well, like I know for me that I want to write for other artists, so that's always been another avenue for me. Like, if I can't make as much money as I want off my own record, I know there's other artists I could write for, and there are other projects I can do. So, I think as artists you can also try and think of ways of being creative.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a youngster, I listened to a lot of R&B. I loved like Aaliyah and Brandy, TLC. And then, I mean, I listened to loads of pop as well. I was into Five, I was into E17, I was into Spice Girls and stuff like that. By the ages of 15, I was sort of into like, I got into like a lot of old stuff like Frank Sinatra, and I got into like Blondie, and then like Bjork, The Police, Morrissey. I just started listening to loads of old music that my dad had, like records that he'd sort of stashed and that I would get curious about.